Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Let me see if I can get on. There we go. Whoa, I see double me. Let me see. Should I go sparkly? Figuring out what I should be doing here. There we go. No. Ooh, too blurry. There we go. No, shady. I'm playing around. Playing around here. Hello, hello. Uh, going on Instagram Live as well, and it's quite man, all of these, what do you call them, that you can do sort of thing. There we go. I don't know. We'll go with that one. There we go. Good morning, good evening, Dana. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Um, got my little music going on here. Turn it off there. There we go. There we go. Blessings to you all. Thank you. It's been a long day. I ended up falling asleep. Um, and I had a little bit of a nap here. So, but I wanted to come in because of for a lot of reasons. I have sort of getting a regular schedule down for now. Mm, I honestly do not ah, do not I know I don't should I say it on here? Well, I don't think I'd even watch it anyways. What's shaking? Apps. Yeah. I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm on 3 at once. I'm not sure how the sound is. I know my sound has been really shitty lately. I really apologize for that. Um, but it hopefully maybe I'll get a I have to do recordings, but I probably well, we'll see if I can get a mic or something going and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Um, well, man, just crazy energies. Just with Neptune alone. Just with Neptune alone at the end. Like Neptune's going to be going retrograde. Saturn is at 8 degrees of Pisces, and it's stopping. Like it's stopping, and it's going to be sitting there for a long time. And it's the thing is there's just so much coming forth of energies that are coming in for us, and things like sort of like being thrown at us. And I was just going through some of my notes, and I was looking at a few days ago, and I was looking at the 1347 energy of the plague, the alignments, 1772 of that energy, 541 AD, coming in with Venus in the Venus retrograde cycle, a new cycle for Venus retrograde, which will be in Leo. We have never lived through that. I mean, we've had her retrograde in Virgo and then go back into Leo, but not fully stay in Leo before. So this is new. It's all of these alignments have, what do they have to do with anything? Like you're saying, oh yeah, okay, what do they have to do with us? Well, they have to do with how we are growing as individuals, but as how are we growing as a community? How are we growing as a society? As when we look at these different eras, what was going on? Like what was happening? And what was pulling the people? Like, I mean, we think that we're so evolved and that we've come so far because we have a telephone in our hand and we can communicate. Well, I honestly think that people back there, hey Shar, were thought the same thing. We're so advanced, we can do whatever they were doing back then. Like we have this advancement, right? So it's almost like we're going through a maze right now, and we're not looking exactly what you thought it would be like. We're going through these mazes, and we're wanting things to look a certain way. We're wanting things to be a certain way. And all of these energies that are coming in to show us, to teach us, they're karmic energies, right? And these karmic energies that are coming in are having us really take a look at our lives. And maybe within our lives we had an idea, we had a thought, we had a dream, we had, ideas, but they haven't come to fruition. That's very Neptunian, right? But it's allowing us to look at this maze, look at this energy that's coming forth and that we're in right now. And it's the anxiety that comes in with it because there's a disassociation, and the disassociation is almost like we're on steroids. So there's an anxiety because as we're going through um the energy and we're going through these mazes, we're feeling it needs to look a certain way. We need to have something, right? And within our mind to see more than what it needs to see. And with the sun in Gemini, and we're having a new moon coming in Gemini coming up this weekend, where our mind, the Gemini mind wants to know things, wants to see things, wants the answers to things. And, with all of this energy, it's coming into having us to really pay attention to what is true to us, pay attention to what's right in front of us, not overstimulating ourselves or overextending ourselves. This is where for us to not like it's beyond what we have ever seen before. Like we're so much is coming forward that the expansion of ourselves, of our lives in a very beautiful, positive way, it's there in amongst the craziness. And I feel, with all these timelines coming in, because all of these timelines, when they were coming in, there's like sort of like one at a time, like one thing at a time was coming in to help with the development, help with the, with things. Now it's like, okay, we have the Pluto return, we have things that were going, the 1772, 1776, wanting to start a new nation, wanting to not be under the thumb of a ruler, right? And now we have the energy of, people wanting to be under the thumb of a ruler, wanting to, tell me what to do, tell me where to go. I just want to stay in my house. This is, a lot of what is happening. People don't want to get back to work. They don't want to go back to the office. They don't, there's this disassociation kind of thing. And I feel like there's this huge anxiety that the world's going through, and an anxiety to find your truth of you, the truth of you, the truth that is true. And with Venus, and this is where you have to be able to like not follow a script. Follow your script. This is where it's like, okay, this is what I need to do. It's where so much has been scripted. Like we've seen this. A lot of things have been scripted. The news has been scripted. This has been scripted. This is why sometimes I watching, say, a movie or watching a show, it's like I can't do it anymore because it's scripted. There's no truth in it. There's no improv. There's no naturality. You know, when I do watch, and I know they're edited and everything else, but when I watch, say, the Pele Report or the Leo King or Chateau Lalonde or the Pethricks or some of the YouTube things I watch, they're not really scripted. They're being truth. They're coming out with who they are. They're being original and living the lives that they truly want to live without having anyone or anything hold them back, and taking the risk of being vulnerable and being out there. And that causes a lot of people anxiety. People want the script. They don't want to go out and not have the lines to say. They don't want to be caught off guard. They don't want to be, I guess, thrown under the bus or feel overly vulnerable. And this energy is having us and going to the core of our soul so that we are being able to connect with that. And that's why it's kind of difficult because I mean, with the Gemini energy, it's like, "Buh, buh, 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 buh. I need to know this. I need to do that. What are we doing? Oh, who's doing what? Who's on social media? Blah, blah, blah." The craziness of it. It's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, right? And with Pluto gone back into Capricorn, you're going to see a lot of shit come up. I mean, we just saw Trump being indicted again for what, the 100th time. We've also seen, other things, more things are going to start coming back up again. They're going to start repeating themselves again. And this is going to be where it's like, I'm not falling back into that. Because the thing is that Pluto and Saturn are kind of getting back together. They're not together, but Saturn's in Pisces and Pluto is in Capricorn sign. And they're doing a little snuggling. And the thing is that when those two do a little snuggling, you don't want to be a part of their snuggling. I mean, they're a bunch of shit disturbers, right? So you don't want to be a part of Saturn and Pluto snuggling. And the thing is that here we got, and Pluto's going back in Saturn's house, so it's like, hey, I'm back home. I like it here. And Saturn's like, hey, what are you doing in there? Are we gonna dig some more things up? Are we going to cause a little bit more chaos? Yeah, we are. We are. They are. It is. So the chaos is going to come in. And it's going to get real crazy out there. It's going to be to the extreme and back again. And that's why it's so important for us to be, able to be on the fly, being able to allow ourselves not to be scripted of what other people want you to be. And this is where, all of these oppositions that are coming in, and we have with Venus coming in, and she's slowing right down. She's slow. She's going to be going retrograde in Leo. This is going to bring, a lot of how are we playing? How are we relating? How are we coming into our youthfulness, because Leo's the teenager. It's a child, wants to get out there, wants to explore, wants to do things and be loud, right? But we're not going to get a lot of the information until Mercury comes together with the sun in Cancer. Now, what's Cancer? Cancer is emotional. Oh, no. Now I know. My people out there. I know I got a Leo on here. I got a Virgo on here that I can see. You know, um there's a Taurus. It's like, whoa, mama, I don't want any more emotion. I don't need any more emotion in my life. My life is emotional enough. I don't need that bullshit. But this is where we are going to find that it is us coming in and coming into our substance, coming into this beautiful goddess flow, and allowing that feminine energy to come through along with the masculine, to standing up and allowing that masculine to be masculine, to be the storyteller masculine. We all have dad, we all have, my dad always had a story about something. And those stories about, when he was younger and the little adventures he had with his brothers, and being an Irish Catholic in Lethbridge, and how they didn't like them, and all kinds of crazy things that he had to go through, and of course stories that he told. And so there are always these adventurous stories. Dads always have these crazy adventurous stories. And this is part of, I think, the embracing is allowing for that energy of the masculine to come through and allowing for that energy of the masculine to come in to show us, to lead us, to give us those stories and guide us and guide us in a way that is not nurturing like the mother, but it's that energy of where the father comes in and says, well, you want to know how to do it, you got to get out there and do it. There's no coddling with the father. And the father is coming in, and the father is coming in to guide us and say, you got to trust in who you are. You got to trust in that, in the gifts that you have been given, and create your adventures, create that. And, my father was a Leo, so, and not giving two shits about what other people think and what other people say, and not getting wound up in the Neptunian propaganda and the Mafia brothers' disillusions. And that's where the energies are. Pretty crazy. It's just crazy. So, a lot of things are happening right now, and so many things are coming forth, and huge changes that we're going to be seeing within the next, I'm going to say within the next, I'm going to give it a month. It's probably going to be less than that. But one thing a huge warning I'm going to give out right now is, and I've said this before many times, but food shortages are going to be coming in. And I want to say, if you don't invest in anything else, invest in food. Food is going to be the highest commodity that you're going to be needing over the next several years. And it's going to be very important. A lot of people, they say, well, I got a lot of food. I got a lot of food. I'm talking up to a year now. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I'll give you, for instance, powdered Tide. Powdered Tide. Now, if you don't know, now you'll know that y'all may not know, but I work at Save On Foods, and I keep my eye on powdered Tide. Don't ask me why. It's just one article that I just keep my eye on. Now, in around, I think it was Christmas time, because we get weekly sales and the sale price, every Thursday. So it went down to $14.99, and that was for the big box of Tide. And so I knew, because I did pricing for a while, that okay, if it went down to $14.99, then there's going to be a huge jump. So I'm going to keep my eye on this Tide. And I bought some at the time. I bought a couple boxes. And the next week it went back up to 22. And I went, oh, okay, from $14.99 to 22. Whew, that's a big jump. Not thinking anything of it, because all the other detergents were pretty pricey. And so January, February, and then I noticed that it went to 25. I was just like, oh, okay. Well, this last week I went by. It's $33 for a big box of Tide. Now, that's at Save On Foods. I mean, you might shop around, you might find it cheaper at Costco or wherever else, but I'm just saying, if Save On Foods has made it that price quite high, it's going to be up high in other places as well. So this is what I'm saying, is that prices are going to start going through the roof. With the energies that are all coming through and the changes that are coming in, from the war to droughts to floods to all kinds of things that are going to come forth, and in each of these eras that we've had alignment with, they've been crazy radical weather patterns in them as well. So this is where we have to look at, okay, how can we start to prepare ourselves and have that? So if you're going to invest in anything, because start investing in food, start investing in canned goods. Um, beef is going to be a big one. So beef is going to be a big one that you're going to start seeing because I mean, you're going to start hearing a lot of culling. Culling means killing, killing off the cattle. Now, they're already doing it over in Europe. They're doing it in oh, they're already doing it here, but um in Ireland, they're starting to cull the beef, the cows, and in the United States. So we're going to start seeing it obviously here as well. So that we're going to see. So beef prices going up and things like that. So stocking up and making sure that if you're stocking up that you're rotating everything, just don't buy it and stock it on top of each other, but make sure you're rotating it. Um, that maybe you are doing prepared dinners and things like that, and that you're dating everything so that you're recycling. Don't stock up and then not, kind of use it unless it's, freeze dried, high grade um, um, freeze dried food, not the cheap stuff that you can get that nobody would ever eat. But, make sure that if you're going to get something that's freeze dried, get quality. Anyways, but I just wanted to put that out because I know that there's, huge shortages are going to start coming in again. Prices are going to start going crazy. All right. We all know that they're already going up, but I mean, for, was it I think a grande latte? No, grande Americano. I mean, I drink a quad, which is 4 shots. So I get an extra shot in there. But I mean, they're over $4, $5, right? Just for a grande cup of coffee is $2.89. Um, so an average price for a latte is $5.51. So this is just, showing you like these prices are starting to go up and they're going to creep up, like whether it's a nickel, whether it's a dime, and we're going to be seeing it across the line. So it's just very important for us. Again, this is about preparedness. Okay. I'm put that out there. Okay, I said enough. The other crazy thing is in the next 6 months is the industrial complex. It's oh, so much on the industrial complex is going to be coming in, and it's where I mean, they're already doing things and drilling into the earth, and into the earth and into the South Pole. So there's already, as they're drilling in to the South Pole, it's causing reactions in other places and hitting the tectite plates and causing earthquakes. So we're going to be seeing more things on that, um, right up to how things information's getting out, how much information's getting out, how fast information is getting out, and how fast things are going to start moving. So this is where it's like, okay, we're starting to see these multiple dimensions coming through. But when I see these things, I go back to Egypt and the time of the pyramids, and each of the eras that came in, right? Um, dynasties that came through, there was great advancements that they had. But we also got to think of, these advancements. Yes, they came in, things happen. Oh, my battery's going low. There we go. Okay. Um, these great advancements came in, but it's then there's a fall. They can't stay in that power. And that's the other thing that we're seeing. We're seeing the power changes. And so the energy of the power changes. So trying to find a grip on something to keep you here. So something larger, for yourself than what is actually happening. So those who some people are going to have freakouts. This is huge mental health with this energy. This is where, to get counseling, to go see a psychiatrist. Not all psychiatrists are bad. This is a time to really make sure that you are, um, if you're feeling that, to get the help that you need. So feeling that disassociation and stuff. And this is the other part, is accepting everything in the universe, just accepting this is the way it is. This is what's happening. This is what's unfolding. How you interject or how you play into it is going to be a very important part, right? So that's going to be an important piece. Um are you over analyzing things? Are you getting yourself too hung up into it, right? Because if you are, then you're going to cause that, a lot of the anxiety and the disassociation, and things are going to start going bonky with inside of you. So this is really important for you. Looking at your freakouts, looking at the things that, um, what is actually happening, and those, um, how things are unfolding. And if you're freaking out over the war in Russia, if you're freaking out like what I just told you about the food, this is like, okay, take a step back. Take a step back. There's so much more to the war than we know. So, I don't know everything about it. I can send it love, I can send it blessings. Okay, there's a lot more that's going on there than you and I are privy to, put it that way. So, but there is going to be a push for those who want to come out and give truth, for those that want to come out and say, this is what's happening. You know, there's going to be where Constantine, well, we're going to bring him in. Constantine was he's the one who brought in the church, right? Right? Hello, hello. So we have the church was founded by Constantine 300 years after Jesus Christ was crucified. And when he was emperor of Rome, Rome had many different religions going on. People were very you had the pagans, you had the different types of Christians at that time. Not everybody practiced the same kind of Christianity, right? Or believed in Christianity, or what we call Christianity, in the same way. And he wanted to bring everybody under one. And so he had a vision. So he says he had a vision, and he was saying that he is the representation of God because of this vision that he had. Now, being a representation of God, so he brought in, where he was bringing in the Magi. The Magi were the ones who watched the stars. The Magi's are the ones who went and gave the gifts to the baby Jesus, because they knew a new king was being born. They studied the myths and the theology, and they studied, the different groups, and their different myths that they had. They studied it and they watched the stars, and that's what the Magi's did. They had temples, and they had places where they could go and watch the stars and chart them. He pushed them to become the first priests. And in pushing them to become the first priests, that means then they stepped away from their astrology. They stepped away from all of that, and numerology and things like that. They stepped away from it, and in creating it and calling it evil, because they didn't want you to be able to have that power. They don't want you to have that power of saying, oh, I can go and stargaze, and I can, oh, whenever the moon is in Gemini, oh, I feel this way. Or when the sun is over here, or Saturn is here, this is how I feel. Oh, if I feel, and then I can see that reflection out into the world. They don't want that power, right? They want to keep the power for themselves. So with Constantine, that's why, being the representation of God, that's where that representation of God came with every single king and queen and emperor, is that my power comes from God. That's where my power comes from, because I'm appointed by God. I'm an appointment by God. That goes back to Constantine. So we have this energy that's where there is a huge push to take power away from people, and that's what happened throughout the ages, taking power away from you so that you listen to me. You listen to this, I know all, not me. I don't know all. God, no. But I know all, so listen to me, right? So this energy that's coming in is saying that you have to really be able to be the improv, be the person that can, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going, you said this, being able to move forward in times of craziness, in times of crisis. If you are finding that you are having the anxiety and feeling very disassociated with this is a time to really look into the help that you need in order for you to be able to get the power to feel more powerful, to do the things that you need to do within your own life, to create the life in the world that you are desiring. And we are seeing with this Mars, and the Mars is squaring Uranus, it's anger. There's anger that's coming out. There's, I want to have this power. Mars is in Gemini, like, or is I should say it's in Leo. It wants this fire, wants this power, wants to get going, and it's squaring Uranus, and Uranus is at a point where World War II was at its height, and this coming in, this military fight, wants to have the power. So then we look in within our own individual selves. Where are we wanting that power? Where are we wanting that control? So that, and this is where it's like, if you're trying to have too much control, if you're trying to take it, then you're going to find that you're going to be feeling overwhelmed, and you're going to be feeling anxious. And with that Saturn and Neptune coming in, and they're stopping, this is about ruling the world. This is about taking that world on. But they're going retrograde, right? So this is very intense thoughts. This is where, it's a extroverted game. You can't clam up. You can't hide away. You have to get out there. You have to communicate. You have to be a part of. And this is where, the mental health crisis is going to be crazy. And people will be wanting to avoid treatment, or people are going to be wanting to avoid things, and we can't avoid. This is in avoidance that's going to cause us not to have our power. If we need to have that help or that, then we need to get out there and get it wherever it is. And this is where, especially with the energies and the mentality and the blocks that might be coming in, this new moon is wanting us to release that. This is, we may not get all the answers until we get into Cancer, and Cancer is because, we need to be able to feel it. We need to be able to come into the emotions of it and not overanalyze it and have a theoretical, well, it's got to look like this and it's got to look like this. We got to come into the flow. We got to come into that energy of when we are in the Cancer energy, to allow for that. And we got to allow for that masculine energy, the true masculine energy, to come forth to help to guide us, because that's what the masculine does. It's the feminine that nurtures, that helps with that creating, and it's the masculine that helps to guide it. And that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to bring in. And this is not the time thinking it should go the way I think it should go. If you have an idea that it has to be this way, analytical, it has to be this way, then you're going to find that you're going to find you're going to be stumbling. So you got to tell yourself spiritually, it's spiritually perfect. Everything is spiritually coming into alignment. Everything is as it needs to be. Everything is as it needs to be. Everything is coming out the way it needs to come out. Everything is unfolding the way it needs to unfold. And in taking that and allowing ourselves, this is where we are able to get through, especially as the moon is going to be coming into the dark phases, or as we call it, the devil side of the moon. This is where, it could be edgy, especially with Mercury squaring Saturn and Mars squaring Uranus. This is, bringing in the edge and the disassociation in the dark moon, and coming in with Aldebaran and conjuncting this dark moon. So this is going to bring in some crazy shit. So this is a wake up, the world. This is waking us up. This is allowing us to stand in that power. And as we stand in that power and that brightness of what it is that we need to do, it's like, okay, how do I prepare? Okay, mama said we need to get meat. We need to do this. We need to make sure we date, rotate, everything else. And allowing ourselves to do that is allowing ourselves to expand and be those bright lights. Because the nodes are starting to square Pluto. And this is emotional freakouts. So we got to be in that in spiritual improv. We got to be in that in spiritual light, because there's going to be freakouts. There's going to be crazy, crazy freakouts. So we got to be in that light. And this is where, with this Venus going retrograde, it's not in Virgo anymore. I mean, the cleanup's done. We've done the cleanup. It's done. I know the Virgos, it's not, this is where that we have to be prepared. And what do we need to be getting into prepared? Because Virgo has been dealt with. There's no more work. There's a lot of illusions that are there, but this is like the energy in a youthful sign. This is the spring of death and the spring of life, coming into the spring of life. And then the rotation is because spring of life, this is upward of the chart. This is not downward, which is the death part, the lower part. But this is for us to relax and understand the truth. And the truth will come out in Cancer. It will be emotional. But this is a time for us not to have those freakouts. This is a time to not overanalyze things and overthink things. This is about preparedness and getting into that truth of preparedness. And as we get into that truth of preparedness, yeah, I know mental health is going to be a very big one, a huge one. And we're going to see and witness those who are wanting to control, because they've been appointed. They've been appointed, so they say. But in knowing your own truth and knowing who you are, then you stand in that truth of your light and of your spiritual self, which is very important. And on that note, I am going to love you and leave you. I'm going to do my evening little ritual that I am starting a new little ritual for myself this evening. So I'm going to go and do that now, because 4:30 in the morning comes fast. 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever time I get up, I don't know. I just get up early. Comes very, very quickly. So I want to send you guys out with so much light. I want you to stand in your truth. I want you to be the brightness that you are. Do your own investigation, right? Ask questions. Don't just accept. Ask questions. Don't accept. Ask questions. Be improv. All right. So may the Lord and Lady watch over you and bless you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Blessed be everybody, and have a wonderful evening. Good night. Bye-bye.